Hello, Kevin Lips. How are you?
I'm awesome, Jim. How are you?
I am living the dream. Thank you so much for joining me and being the professional in electric today here on Checker Pro Radio. Lips Electric. Love you guys. Questions come into the radio program. Are you ready to answer it for us?
I sure am. Yes. Bring it
Okay. This happens a lot. And I'll tell you, when I was a kid, this happened all the time. The lights would dim in the house when an appliance came on. So someone has sent in an email. Why do my lights dim when my air conditioner turns on? And I think the
on.
reason is because there's a big draw, but that's not normal, right? It shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. There's several answers to this, but it really does start with that high startup current draw. So when your AC kicks on, especially the compressor, the demand is large from the electricity side. So it creates a short burst, which is known as inrush current. And this sudden load can cause a temporary voltage drop, which will cause your lights to dim.
Yeah. In general, is that dangerous?
It's it kind of depends. I mean, not normally. I mean,
Mm.
we haven't really experienced people having many issues from a safety hazard perspective. It's more of a nuisance, but it depends. If you have a brief 3 to 5% dimming, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
But if the lights are flickering dramatically or stay dimmed, there's a signal of a deeper issue, like a failing component, or the circuit could be overloaded.
Hmm. Years ago, the electrical systems in homes weren't designed the way they are today. I mean, let's be fair. A home that's 80 years old, I mean, electricity was just coming in, 20, 30 years before that into homes.
Yes.
I've lived in homes where there weren't electricity when it was built. One of the first homes I owned was built in 1775. There was no plumbing or electricity to bring it in. And even then, I think they brought it into the home in the 1950s, and it was, that was getting old. And there were the old, fuses, the glass fuses, and so
Yes.
forth. So, and speaking of dimming, oh my gosh, you turn a toaster on and the lights would dim. So when you have something like an element or an air conditioning system, even a window unit can draw a lot. It's something that's certainly inconvenient. Um, I guess one way to temporarily fix it would be to make sure that when you're running your air conditioning system, you have less things on, but that's really not the optimal way to fix this. Can you guys come out to the home and diagnose it and either do something on the air conditioning side or on the system side itself?
Yeah, no, yes. The answer is yes. So if you're lighting an AC, they could be on the same circuit. That
Mm.
can cause an issue that
And they're not supposed to be, by the way.
they're not supposed to be.
Mm-mm.
The other thing that's less common that you got to really think through is if you look at inside of a panel and the way that the breakers work, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and down the other side, is all the odds are on one leg within the panel, and all the evens are on oh my gosh, odds then
Mhm.
evens. They're on separate legs. So you get your first, it's a 240 amp or volt system. Get your first 120 on the first set, and then you get your second on the second set. So sometimes if that light happens to be on the same panel leg, you can flip the breakers around, and you can get clever with solutions in that. And that's typically where we'll find it. The other issue is there can be wire resistance or loose connections. If you have shared wiring, especially, but even if it's loose wiring somewhere else near, it can cause that as well. And the other thing that happens is you could have corroded wiring, especially in the older homes that you spoke to, and that can also amplify voltage drops. And it's something that our team would troubleshoot during service calls on this topic, and really would. It can take quite a while to diagnose and find the exact fault, but our guys are patient and skilled and able to find those faults.
Many older homes were not designed for air conditioning systems, yet we bring them into our homes. um, you can upgrade a panel
For
and
sure. Yes.
upgrade the service from maybe 100 amp to 200 amp, which will make a huge difference in a home. And if you really love your home and you want to be safe and not have dimming lights, not have breakers trip, you may want to consider upgrading your service.
100%. And we also are very respectful to budgets and understand that, we're not going to ever recommend anything to you that isn't like the best option. We will give you the best option, the top tier solution, but we're also going to give you that repair, break, fix option as well, depending on what you want to do. Because if I don't know. I'm not going to go into the reasons why people would choose to go all in or not. It's budget specific. Are you going to live here? Are you going to live here for a short period of time or a long period of time? But that's the customer's choice. So we always position things as options, but always a great solution is to upgrade that panel, which would also come with the upgraded meter base. And we always make sure we reconnect or really make sure the utility connections are to code and proper and all the way through. So, Duke Energy's real big out here. But whoever your utility provider is, you would want to work with them, and that's kind of what our main focus is. And sometimes it comes down to that panel is 40 years old and it really should be replaced. And once it gets over 15, 20 years, it's something to really consider.
Yeah, even though it's not a moving part, um, things things get old and
Well, and there's the
code
parts don't
changes.
the parts don't move, but I would argue the current is continuously moving. There's always power, there's always flow, and you have a whole current going in and out constantly. Those breakers have a lifeline,
They
and it's just like anything you got your bell curve,
Yep.
and it could be a newer one, and becomes faulty faster.
Mhm.
You hit the top of the bell curve, its life is kind of where it needs to be, but then some live real long, and I think a lot of common issues with electrical systems is, again, the neglect. It's the number one neglected system in a home, and it's so important that it gets looked at and it has a preventative maintenance program, and it's something that you let a professional come in and make sure things are operating as they should.
I would bet if there are 4 people living in the home above the age of 15, only one of them knows where the panel is anyway.
You're
That's
probably right.
right? I mean, think about it, right? Because, maybe the husband knows where it is, but maybe the wife doesn't, or maybe the wife knows where it is and the husband doesn't, and the kids are clueless. They're like, "I don't how come the TV went off?"
100%. Yeah.
So it's one of those things you don't think much about. It's supposed to be there. It's like oxygen, right? It's supposed to be there. And no, it is kind of put there by man, and it needs to be maintained by man. And I suggest you call Kevin and his team at Lips to come on out and take a look at it. As always, Kevin, thank you so
Yes.
much for being the expert on the show.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for letting me be here.